Hello and welcome back to Mythos Busters. It's been so long. Did you miss us?
How are you feeling since the last time we got together, guys?
Been a while.
Uh, I'm Sean, and I've got the whole crew with me. It's Scott, it's Ian, it's Justin, and my God, we have we have had blood in our mouths from biting our tongues on not being able to talk about this. We have had business to do both for ourselves, and now we've got the card preview, and now we actually get to fully talk about this giant new announcement. So let's talk about it, boys. They didn't announce Arkham Horror Second Edition, but they did announce Arkham Horror Chapter 2. Your thoughts?
I'm excited. The fact that it's completely backwards compatible, the fact that they made that happen, I bring it on. I am so happy. I have no qualms.
Yeah, same. Super happy. I think it's the right choice. I think it's the perfect time to do it. I think like the game was going strong, but in some ways feeling very unwieldy for players and stores, I imagine, and everyone. It's a good time for it.
I fall into the camp of I am cautiously optimistic for it. I think it would have been cleaner to just do a 2.0. I get why they didn't. The big open question for me is what they will do for um, balancing and FAQs, and if they're going to, it's all backwards compatible, but things will fall off. I would love it if they would do a here is everything from chapter 1. Like if you only ever play chapter 1, here's a final FAQ for it. If they do that, I'm happy. Yay.
And send it
Otherwise,
to the Gray
like overall,
Isles.
I'm excited. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, let's get this out of the way because I want to talk a little bit for what might have been, but then we can talk entirely about what is. I too, just for a quick moment, wish they had gone whole hog on a second edition. I do think they kind of faced a little bit of an impossible problem because the LCG format has hit up against this multiple times since it started, right? Because you get to a point with any LCG when it's lived long enough that new players, you have to keep the core set in stock as a retailer, right? But then what do you do beyond that? You devote all this space to to I mean, how many cycles did we hit with Arkham Chapter 1? 8, 9?
I don't even know. Yeah.
I think it was 10.
Is it?
Was it 10? Oh,
I
okay.
think
Well,
so.
that's okay. So 10 cycles, so many standalones. And then, we had a little dalliance with return twos in there too. Like you do hit a problem on the retail side of, okay, what do I stock? How do I keep it in stock so that it's relevant to the people who are going to be buying from my store? Um it's not an easy problem to solve when you get to a point where you have so many SKUs that like people A have to track them down and B someone has to stock them first, right? So I do recognize that's kind of an impossible problem to solve, and no matter what way you go with it, you're going to piss someone off. Whether it's the new player going, "Hey, I just bought in. What are you doing with second edition?" Or whether it's this situation where in my case I love obviously Arkham, but it would have been cool to see like, okay, what can we like really dig in and do mechanically to clean this up. Yeah, there might have been some mechanical cleanup and streamlining with some of the weird the rules weirdness. And I do think in that case, it would have also relieved a lot of the stomach acid that is currently being produced from everyone trying to snap up the stuff that's quickly going out of print. and maybe people coming behind and watching this episode, years down the road will have no idea of what it was like, but it is a wild world right now trying to buy Arkham product. And I feel bad for anyone trying to get into it right now. So this comes at an odd time, right?
Yeah, I personally am on the team that I'm glad they didn't do a second edition. Well, like the designer part of my brain thinks it's a fun exercise to think about like what could have changed. but overall, I didn't feel like Arkham really necessitated it in the same way that like Lord of the Rings like would badly need a second edition. But Arkham, I think, is not so much a mechanical or gameplay thing that needs refreshing as so much as like the card pool and the model. So, and having the backwards compatibility. Sometimes I think to your point, Sean, like either way, people would be unhappy with either model because if they did a second edition, because I've seen this happen with second editions of other games, people are like, I'm out. Like I had
Yeah.
my old collection, like all of a sudden all those cards are invalidated, even though they're not. Like you can play them, they don't disappear. But like just that psychological thing of like it's a second edition, like all my old cards are useless now. Like I don't want to start again, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's always tricky.
Well, and we will now have the luxury as lifers in this game. We will have the luxury of like, all right, when do I play chapter 2? When do I play chapter 1? When do I mash them together? And we're gonna flesh that out over the coming months, I'm sure. But it is also going to be a thing in the community, and I'm going to be very interested to see how the community works its messaging and what the consensus arrives at. But new people coming into Arkham like 1-2 years from now, being able to buy all the new stuff, that's great. All the chapter 2 stuff will presumably be available, and it sounds, we'll get to it, but it sounds like there's actually going to be a decent amount of it off the jump. But there is also going to be a streak of unavoidable FOMO laid into this community now, because you technically could play with all of your current chapter 2 cards in the chapter 1 stuff, but you can't buy it. And that's going to be a sore spot for a while, I imagine. But
I think that might be a sore spot, but I think people also have to look at it realistically. Like this is a 10-year-old card game.
yeah.
Like, are you expecting a company to keep product in print from 9 years ago on the off chance that someone wants to go back and buy everything? I don't think that's a feasible business model. And I'm not trying to be, Captain Capitalist, because I am absolutely not.
That's what we
but
call you
I
around
just
the
like,
Mythos Busters offices, although I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Captain Capitalist.
Oh, here it comes. But like that, like that's not a way. Like I want FFG to succeed so they can keep making more Arkham, and I don't think that that's a way that they. Scott from the capitalism. I don't think that's a good way of doing it, um, and honestly, there's so many ways to play this game. I mean, if you really wanted to go back, I'm sure if you're getting that much into Arkham, there's another city or another player in your city who has everything.
Well,
Who
yeah.
you can go back and play those campaigns, right?
And that's what's going to be really interesting to see how the community works this out, because there will be ways. People will figure out ways to access these old things, whether it be through, legally gray means, or whether there's, maybe a network of hooking people up like, hey, I own a bunch of Arkham, I own a bunch of chapter 1, and for any of you chapter 2 newbies who'd like to get a campaign together, maybe we can do that. That sort of,
Let me show you
Gators
Carcosa.
only dating website might be a thing we need to do.
Carcosa.
Well, and I'm going to jump in here as the more resident capitalism, or closest thing we have to it, I think. I don't know.
You work for a business, yeah.
I'm not qualified
right?
to make that call.
Yeah. Well, you just have to say you are, and then you can sell it. No, I think your point stands, Scott, for expecting a company to do it. And there is important background here we should all remember, is we think of this as just FFG.
True.
But the game has existed when FFG has been owned, or Asmodee was owned outright, then sold to private equity, then sold from private equity to
more private equity.
Group.
Embracer, yeah.
Then spun off from Embracer, where Asmodee is now its own thing, saddled with debt. So again, there are some business decisions around that even go beyond what we would think of as consumers or just fans of a game. And I think that is playing into it to some degree. And so it does truly make sense from that perspective. And if that's what has to happen for the long-term health of the game, cool.
And that's the thing, like they're clearly, I mean, it should be nothing but good news because they're clearly building Arkham to be as much as possible like a game that lasts forever, like how Magic kind of lasts forever, because Magic just like constantly rotates stuff out, and you don't expect stuff to be in print forever. So like
Yeah.
that's kind of what they're going for. The old model was not built to last, and like this is actually FFG learning lessons, which is amazing. Because
We do love
LCG
that.
model has really struggled, especially on the competitive side, with figuring out how the heck do you like. They're really good at getting excitement out the gate, but how the heck do you keep it supported? And so I think they're kind of, I'm sure there'll be some more tweaks along the way, but I think they're kind of figuring out like how can we actually just keep this thing going like forever, or for the long term at least.
Well,
I
and
think
Magic's
the
an
other thing
interesting.
with it will be that right now, Sean, you mentioned the mad rush of people with FOMO and buying in. I do think, from what it seems like, Arkham printed in much higher numbers than some of the previous LCGs, where when those went out of print, they've remained at a really high cost on the secondary market. I really think that we will see Arkham spike at some point on the secondary and then come down. I don't think it's going to just hold super high. You might have some things like Barkham or the Return Twos where they were limited print runs, but
Yeah.
you have other things like like Dunwich, Carcosa, some of those early ones that they just printed a ton of. Right now, yes, they are too going up in cost, but over time, I think it'll get a little more sane.
You're just hoping, because I feel bad for. I mean, I felt bad for people trying to get into Chapter 1 before we even knew Chapter 2 existed. Let
Yeah.
alone now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Chapter 2 being announced might let some of the pressure off. Maybe it increases it because people, I don't know. But Magic is an interesting comparison because obviously it's the oldest one. It's the one that dominates the landscape. But it's also competitive, whereas Arkham's a little bit different in that if we were all only concerned with investigator or player cards, that would be one thing, because your inability to get player cards from eons past might not be such a big deal if you know that, oh well, everyone, those are rotated out, those aren't legal anymore, everyone's going to be playing with the new cards anyway, I don't have to worry about it. But since we are cooperative and the campaigns themselves are such a huge part of the equation, I do think it adds an
It's like
interesting flavor to the that Mo part of
it,
FOMO.
it's like your opponents are rotating out. Like you can no longer play Jim Bob at the store because he's out of print. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But, that's a very interesting look at it too. Because yeah, you're right. It's this is a game where Jim Bob has been depreciated. Yeah. Really, we have two card pools,
Yeah.
right? Where like where competitive games have one, and there's just that card pool, and one is customizable and one is not. And that's
Yeah. And I think they've said or intended that like with I think it was in the announcement of the different formats that they're going to just be designing to whatever the current format is and not designing to legacy in terms of like the encounters. So like when they're designing new scenarios, the designers are only going to have the chapter 2 cards in mind, which is interesting. So I guess to take that analogy, it would be like if you were playing a competitive game, and if you're choosing to play legacy in Arkham, it's kind of like if you brought like a legacy deck with all the cards for a competitive card game against your opponent who is just using the current cards.
Yeah, that's fair. It will also be interesting to see, from the perspective of lifers, once Chapter 2 has existed for a while and has kind of its own meta that has evolved for a little bit, what it would be like to bring entirely Chapter 2 decks back to legacy campaigns. Will they get stomped? Will they stomp? Like, what is the balance going to look like? Will they keep it kind of even? I'm fascinated to see how that turns out, but I guess that's for another day.
I think that's interesting too because we know also like campaigns and player cards were built at the same time, were designed at the same time, and sometimes those player cards gave us answers for the specific challenges in that campaign or the next campaign coming up, right? Like, oh god, what was it? The fine clothes. When we got that, we're like, why would we ever need this next campaign? It's like, wow, this is a great card.
Oh, curtain
right?
call
Like,
just smashed me in the mouth. Okay, I get it now.
oh, I have to talk to people. Oh,
And now
but
in
yeah,
the right
like
scenarios, fine clothes is absolutely busted.
yeah. So
But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Okay. So first, two things. I want to put this out there. It's going to be a minute because we got a little bit of a backlog to clear. But 2 bits of content that I would love to do. One,
Mm.
I just need to get it out of my system. We're not going to talk about it anymore tonight. What would you change in an Arkham full second edition?
ooh, okay.
Sure.
I'd
Yeah,
love to
that's a good
do.
one.
I'd love to do that. And then 2 solutions for people who find themselves unable to get a hold of chapter 1 campaigns and or player cards. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see which one is more sought. But anyway, let's get out of the hypothetical. Let's start talking about what was actually announced.
Mhm.
So we've got a new core set. We have some factoids that we can share with you here. So the basic gist is that if you already own everything from the game, you'll still want to pick up this core set. Its contents are going to be quite different. There'll be a handful of familiar staples apparently, but the majority of the cards are going to be new and add to the broader card pool. They confirmed on live stream that we've got 5 investigators.
5 mechanically new.
Yes, thank you. I'm like, I need to be very deliberate of the words I use here.
Yeah.
So five investigators that are new to the game. Presumably one of each of the classes. I don't think we have any indication that they've changed the classes up at this point. But they did tease that there are going to be some familiar faces with new twists and some new characters entirely. So we're going to get a little bit of both. So that's interesting to know. We get a new 3-part campaign. This is not a reprint of Nazi. The new campaign has been teased. It is Brethren
Please say no to
of
the
Ash.
Zealot.
What?
We always say the whole campaign.
Oh yeah, sorry. Night of the Zealot. I'm God. Oh God. All right. Sorry. Hey, newbies. Check us because we have been around for a very long time and we do nicknames and we do initialisms and sometimes they're super unfortunate. And you know what? When we gave that one its name, we didn't have to worry about them in the real world at the time. So
Yeah. NOTZ. You know, say it Canadian, okay? Not Z.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
There you go.
Not
There you
Zed.
go.
There we go. That's much better. All right. So anyway,
I
sorry.
think if he says it Canadian, he gets deported.
Oh, yeah.
True.
Okay. Anyway, new campaign is not Zed.
Thank God.
It is Brethren of Ash, and I believe at this point, aside from some art that was teased, that's all we know. But presumably that's still going to be focused on onboarding people mechanically to the game in the way that the Gathering did, and I'll be interested to see what they do with it. But okay, so bold but true. The original core, the first 2 scenarios, iconic for different reasons.
Yep.
Third one, kind of you can leave it on the table.
Iconic for a completely third reason.
Yeah, it had some moments, but yeah, definitely mechanically
It
weakish.
sure taught you about Arkham
Yeah.
and what to expect.
And how much it hurts for no reason sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think there's anyone that has like super fond memories of Devourer below. It's certainly like it's got some memorable beats to it, and depending on what you do in Midnight Masks, it's got some wild stuff going on. But I'll be interested to see if the new campaign follows a similar clip.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's also going to feature artwork, but it's probably going to be completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, in addition to investigators, player cards, campaign, they are apparently adding some new quality of life goodies to the new core. They teased this on stream. So we've got location connection tokens in the core
Yay.
box.
I know.
How about that?
Who would
Yep.
have thought?
They didn't show it off, but they did tease that they've got a new tray in the box for organization purposes.
Now I want to know more about what this tray entails.
Me too.
Yeah.
It has 3 rows. No.
Because like we all know any tray becomes quickly outdated, so like what is this tray gonna be?
Well, or it has too much generic space and then it's not actually useful for storage. And so yeah, I'm insanely curious about this one.
Watching the announcement stream, Duke did say he's like a rigorously tested new tray. So
What do they do to test it?
I mean,
I want the video of what that testing looked like.
I know.
FFG, let us know. I am so curious.
Just
I
just
really
shooting
hope
with
the
guns. Yeah.
I really
It's
hope
that
the tray's
chair and
design.
Go ahead,
Go
Ian.
ahead, Justin. I was gonna say I hope the tray's designed in a way that compartment holding one of the
Yeah.
be hidden away. The
They're
Lita equivalent. Yeah.
they're seeing how many tray kicks it is to the nearest hotel.
Wow,
I'm
that's a deep
envisioning it's
pull.
like that chair at IKEA that you always see the pressure thing like pushing down to be like this thing can bend
Oh yeah.
70,000 times.
Yeah.
Except they bought the machine and it presses down once and it crushes it.
My biggest hope is that it has dividers that you can move within the box, so you can create variable space. That is my number one on the wish list, because there is no one solution for various things I have found.
That's very true.
So
Yep.
like the ability to swap things around and create new space is the biggest thing for me. So we'll see.
I love this whole idea, and I like Duke said it on the stream where they're like they got to kind of reimagine Arkham. Like, what do we wish in happy magical Christmas land? What would we love to have in a new Arkham product? And they got to choose like yeah, like he's like location tokens and this tray. And I'm jumping ahead, but investigator mini like these tokens in addition to the mini cards. He said it was
Mhm.
just a little token. So I don't know if that's going to be like a 1 2 3 4 or that's going to be like the class symbols or something like that. But
Right.
just little things like that. Like I am super excited for this.
Yeah. Well, another thing they're adding. So we're getting mini cards per usual, but we are also apparently getting mini tokens for investigators,
Mhm.
which is kind of cool. I'll
Yep.
have to see them before I know where I'm going to use them, but that's actually interesting that they're giving us two options.
Yeah, it's hard thinking of another kind of LCG product that gives you two options for the same
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
but it seems like they really are trying to stay true to the backwards compatible idea, because if they had just given us tokens, there would be a lot of players,
Oh,
probably myself
There'd be a
included,
riot.
saying like all of a sudden I have all these mini cards, but then my new investigators don't match with my old mini cards.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And thus is the difficulty of doing not a second edition.
Yeah, true.
But hey, there's pitfalls either way. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I do you think they'll be round? Because if they're like the same size as chaos tokens, and we can just like use coin capsules still, they might. If they're shaped, if they're like human shaped, that would be interesting too. Because then you just buy like a big coin capsule and just keep it inside. And
Yeah.
I don't know though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Imagine if they put coin capsules in the core box. Like the one
Talk about a
number
quality
one
of life
quality of
improvement.
life beyond connection tokens, beyond organization tray, coin capsules on your chaos tokens. That is, yeah.
Well, and it's not
You
a
think
foregone
are they
conclusion
gonna
that
put a chaos bag in there?
I think they did in the
They did in the new core.
yeah, the new core,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, that's right. They did.
Or the
Yeah, not that I would
2021
use
core.
it because I have my old bag, but
No more chaos
No,
coffee
but if they
mugs.
take it away and we had one,
It's true.
Salty Elder, but I hope the secret token is amber colored and sets off a fight as to whether it's yellow or orange.
Everyone's right. Everyone's right, guys. No need to fight.
Yeah.
Just get clues and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that'll be interesting. And it's not a foregone conclusion that the chaos tokens will be the same size. It would surprise me if they're
True.
not. Because
Yeah,
that's pretty
true.
key. But
That's something like, it ain't broke, so don't fix it.
well, yeah, and if they are trying to keep it, never mind. It probably is a foregone conclusion, because if they're keeping it mechanically compatible, you need to be able to play with Bless and Curse and Frost.
Mhm.
So never mind. I just said a silly thing. Let's move on. We saw it in our card preview, but some new mechanical syntax. So for instance, we saw it with Through the Cracks that we just previewed, and they showed off Cosmic Flame on stream, where instead of bothering to say fight, use willpower instead of the skill, like saving like all that, it says fight, willpower icon. Done.
Yep. Fantastic.
So happy about that. Like any way they can help themselves, not taking up more of the text box than is needed for some of these things that could be simplified. Like I am on board for that.
Well, when you look at the new cards that were in the article as well, the framing there's more text box space.
Yes.
Like they moved some of the design of the art, so now,
Yeah.
great ways to save room for for more flavor text.
The
Woo!
I suppose it doesn't show on the event here, but when they showed the asset on screen on stream, you could see that this particularly it looked like the bottom, the like little swoop, the little arc
Yes.
at the bottom was like way
Way
pushed
smaller.
down and flattened. So
Yep.
yeah. Anyway, I enjoy cleanliness, so no shade there. Excited about that. So they did announce that this core is going to replace the revised core set from 2021 and is going to be the new Evergreen core experience. And that does mean that scenario content released after this core will draw from this core's encounter sets rather than any past ones. And they were talking about on stream how they might put out, I assume this would be addressed in like an FAQ or something, patches for older campaigns to use new core encounter sets if someone can get a hold of an old campaign but doesn't have the old core encounter sets. So I'm interested to see what that looks like too, but they mentioned that was on the radar at least.
That's cool.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So in addition to the core, and this I hinted at this earlier, but FFG announced that there's going to be an increased pace of Arkham releases. So anyone who was on the Game is Dead train at around the Drowned City release time, I'm so sorry, but you got to eat crow. You got to eat the whole thing. Whole
They
thing,
never
man.
will, Sean. They never
Yeah.
will.
Beak to talons. They've got 3 developers on this. So obviously we got our, like, first of all, hang on. We have blown past this. We have blown past this, boys. We have, it kind of pains me. Can we take a quick second and feel some collective brotherly pride in the fact that our boy, Nick, was in on making a new core set for Arkham Horror, the card game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? I'm
It
like,
is.
it's so crazy because, you know, I grew up and have gamed with Nick my whole life, and it's just always, Nick's always got something he's developing and working on and wants to talk about. But every so often nowadays, I look at him and be like, dude, you are working on Arkham. That's so crazy.
I know, right?
It's exactly what we groomed him for ever since 2016, right? Like
Exactly
it was
right.
just
We've been preparing for this.
We're-
And now we have the perfect scapegoat if there's something we don't like.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, it's fine. I've been whinging at Nick about his game design our entire lives, so that will not stop now. But yeah, so I mean, say nothing of Duke, of course, which, you know, like Duke's been at the I was gonna say the helm, but he's been working on Arkham at least prior to, I want to say Innsmouth is when he said he started as an intern, and then worked through Scarlet Keys, took over for MJ. Has done a great job so far. And now Waleed, who we had introduced and has been around the community a decent amount, he has moved on to actually developing board games. And Reed is the new 3rd, count them 3, Arkham developer working on the game right now. So the game is healthy. And don't take it from me, take it from Asmodee approving of the investment. If nothing else, that is an indicator.
Yeah.
Quick side note, I just saw Waleed at a board game market, and he said to say hi to y'all.
Oh.
Man, he teased me with wanting to play Lord of the Rings LCG, and I'm gonna have to take him up on that at some point here.
Yeah, dude.
We'll see how many games we get in before he hates it.
I'll say 2. This new pace is obviously just generally good, objectively good, but it's also particularly good for us and other content creators and the community in general. They even mentioned this on their stream about how the increased pace is, I feel like this is kind of a nice in-between spot. You know, we used to have pretty much getting content like every month when there was Mythos packs. And then we went to essentially getting like 2 releases per year with the Investigator and campaign boxes. Now we're kind of getting an in-between spot where I think it's obvious to everyone that there just like wasn't enough frequency of things to talk about, like for the hype machine. When you're just getting one release a year, and now like there will always be something around the corner for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh, and I, I didn't necessarily, as a consumer, enjoy the old LCG model,
Sure.
right? Where you had big box expansion, 6 packs that followed. But boy, that was great as a content creator. Boy, that was
Yes.
very nice as a content creator to have this constant trickle of new things that people wanted to talk about and engage with. You know, that we've compared it multiple times, but it was like moving from the age of watching TV on a weekly basis to them, you know, the streaming age where you just dump a whole series, and some people can binge it really fast, some people have to binge it really slow, and the pace at which and that you can talk about it and what you're talking about is kind of a little bit more staggered. But presumably going forward, okay, so what they announced on the stream specifically is there will be 4 Arkham releases per year. There are going to be deck building tools, which I assume means investigator expansions, campaign expansions, and standalone scenarios, and then sometimes one of those will double up. You know, who knows? They might drop new products on us too that they didn't want to tease yet. But that's kind of what we're looking at. So that's pretty exciting.
I read that as that is what they are committing to.
Right.
And so if they happen to do others, then it's bonus. But that way it very much came across as the like polite corporate hedging of here is our intent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they want to be more flexible ultimately, that they're not locked into like we do this many card pool stuff and this many scenarios. It's like they want to be flexible to, I don't know, maybe in the early life of chapter 2 they want to hit us with a bunch of new player cards so we can kind of like flesh out our options, and then as they go forward maybe they'll lean more towards scenario stuff. I don't know, just they have some options.
I mean, if I were developing the game, that would be my thing. But I'm also the guy who, you know, I think I built like 12 decks on Arkham DB this week. So I'm always hungry for new options. But I was trying to make summon servitor work. Okay, I still haven't. 12 decks in, and I'm still trying.
One day.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they did say several new products will release alongside the new core. Maybe a glut of new player cards. Here's hoping.
Yeah.
And to be clear, for those who don't know us, we don't actually know. Like we're not being
Oh, yeah.
cagey, but probably good to clarify, we do not know.
Yep.
So a couple of new features that they called out that are being added to the new core. This is an interesting one. We've got reward cards. Someone want to talk about reward cards?
Yeah, so it's cards that you earn basically by completing campaigns, finishing a specific scenario or a goal or something like that. And then you are now allowed to use that card in your collection, which I love this. This is so themey, and I absolutely know there's going to be people who are like, oh, yeah, I don't care. I just use them in deck building. And I'd be like, that's
Sure.
fine. Cool. I don't care. This is just something fun. I think that, people who play a lot will be interested in, because I don't know. It's like, wow, this cool new card that I can't use until I play through this campaign once or complete this challenge. It seems really fun. Um, it's, I mean, it's a completely optional rule, really, but at the end of the day, but I'll play by it. So.
Yeah, I encourage people to play by it. I played some other games that do things similar, like Final Girl. Like, if you beat a certain scenario, then there's like a little card in an envelope that you take out, and now you can use that special weapon. It's like nothing stops you from just using that anytime, but it's your own internal knowledge that you earned the card and are able to.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm hoping that this leads to the way they handle standalone stuff being different, because there was always the dilemma for chapter 1 where If you have a standalone and you actually play it through a campaign, you get the rewards. That's cool. You get to put those cool new cards in a deck that may or may not have even been featured in the standalone that you were playing, right? Like so many of those don't even enter play when you're playing that scenario. It would be really cool. Yeah, well, just so many of those. The Kopesh, the Night Gaunt whistles, those are so freaking cool. Like so many cool things like that. I really hope that they move more toward this reward system where, okay, once you've beaten this standalone, whoop, here's this cool new card now that is added to your deck building pool. And, you know, yeah, I guess you can artificially make yourself go through the scenario to unlock it, but it'd be kind of cool to see it move more toward this. Because some of those cards are so cool, and it is an absolute shame that they're, you know, mechanically locked behind doing a whole scenario, some of which might be really hard to slot into certain campaigns, and some of which can actually just straight up kill you if you fail them in the middle of a campaign.
Yeah.
So
I think one thing there might be a challenge with that idea is the balance of it, where like the Kopesh should never be allowed to just be chosen as a thing. Like, or I guess you'd have to add XP to it. That would be the thing, right? Like,
well,
and it's
you say that. Let's look at real quick. They did tease one, and I think this actually this does a good job of kind of pointing out how they're handling this a little bit, because it does seem like at least the one they teased, you get something cool, but it does also just have a balancing downside to it.
Yeah.
Ian, you want to read Collector?
Yeah. So Collector is a neutral asset, no level, permanent reward, limit 1 per deck, purchase only at deck creation. You get +5 deck size, perfect for people like me who hate cutting cards. Your investigators deck building options gains 1 other relic or charm asset of any class, level 0-3.
Okay, well, all 5 classes are listed there, so it is confirmed that those are staying the same. Whew.
True.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, so you get the downside of a bigger deck. It is a downside of like efficiency, yada yada, but you get to include a special relic in your.
Yeah, 35 good cards. I mean, I'm instantly going to throw this in my Commander Mandy deck, the deck that has 100 cards in it. So
it'll be 5% more awesome.
Well, it means I can cut down some other stuff, so it's all good. But
Commandy,
Sean, are you able to show the image on stream, or is that gonna mess with what you have set up?
Hang on. Might be able to.
If it's too much of a thing, don't worry about it. But
the reason I'm
show
asking about it.
Reason I'm asking about it is for anyone who sees the art or wants to go look. I got a kick out of this because the other day I got a ping from our con planning crew, and I was like, "Oh no, what's happening?" Because I wasn't expecting anything, and it was over in one of our like social channels, and it was, "Hey, have you seen this yet? You should cosplay as the Collector."
Oh yeah, yes you should.
I'm pretty sure that's oh my god, his name is slipping me now. He's head of studio right now. He does a lot of the he's on camera for a lot of the like Star Wars adjacent streams that they do at FFG. Oh my god. I'm normally okay with names, but his name is escaping me now. But I believe this is FFG employee art. And I will also point out, and I'm so sorry that we can't have this on screen right now. Go check it out. I'm pretty sure he is looking at this cool orb over the mutated, weird, trippy Eldritch chess set from Quick Learner.
Yes.
So cool little detail there.
Just pondering his orb.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, isn't the orb the box art of Mansions of Madness, 2nd edition?
It might be. It might well be. Anyway, so that's cool. That's a cool difference. I'm hopeful that change is just good all around. That'll be kind of cool to see what we get out of that.
Yeah.
So for those who care about lore, Scott, earmuffs if you prefer.
Well, you know what? It's funny because I do actually have to run.
Okay.
Have to go. So,
perfect timing.
You said that 4-letter word, and I'm just gonna smoke bomb out of here.
All right, perfect.
So, I didn't know there was lore to this game. I'm refusing to accept that there is. So, yeah.
Cool,
I'm gonna take
cool.
off, but I am very excited for this. I love the idea of chapter 2. I'm super pumped. So, yeah.
Excellent. All right, we'll catch
Okay.
you next time,
See you guys
buddy.
later. See you guys.
Just go ahead and remove him from the group chat. I am deeply wounded.
Yeah, I could talk a little bit about the lore while you're doing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so what they mention is chapter 2 also represents a kind of time skip in the lore, but a very small one. So it's not like we're going years ahead. I think it's like 6 months or a few months or something. But I think it's more substantial in terms of like the stories of particular characters that they've progressed in their own personal stories. The big example from the article is that Jenny is gone and is being replaced by her sister Izzy. Is
That's so
gone,
crazy. So
which is
crazy to think
huge.
about.
Like Jenny is one of the most prominent Arkham Files characters, I would say.
That's a
Like,
marquee character that they've just been
yeah.
like, okay, bye, you'll see her maybe.
So like I could have seen if they just got rid of one of the lesser known characters, but yeah, to off Jenny, it's not clear whether she's dead or lost or whatnot. It's kind of unclear, but yeah, her sister's replacing her. So
Well, I'm just
seems
glad
like
that
there'll be a
after
lot
10
of that
years,
kind of thing.
after 10 years, we have finally found Izzy.
I know.
We had to lose Jenny to do it, but we did do it.
They're just gonna keep swapping places back and each new chapter.
And it was
Yep,
funny
that's
too
how-
because I was reading something. I think it was the article before I had watched the stream, and I was just kind of perusing stuff, and I saw the name Isabella Barnes, and I just kind of was like, oh, cool, new investigator, and just kind of like just bamped right by it, no clocking, no comprehension at all. And then later, when one of the other pieces of content was up and they were actually talking about it, and someone used the word Izzy, I was like, oh, those synapses connected. Holy cow, that's Izzy. That's crazy. That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, and there's gonna be the other one. It's not a new kind of swap, but an existing character is Joe Diamond, but I don't know how he's gonna advance in his story, even more grizzled. I don't know. But it'll be a new version of Joe Diamond.
He's found his hunch.
Yeah. So all this means we're gonna see like characters. We're probably gonna see like locations that we know in a different way. Maybe Velma's Diner has a new franchise location or something. Like there's different possibilities.
I mean, or Cthulhu leveled it. One of those two things.
Yeah, probably that one's more likely, but more than Velma franchises. But
yeah,
Hey, so I have a question going back to Izzy.
Yeah.
This just makes me think of, I'm going to talk about Star Wars Destiny. But there were in later sets, there was a version of Anakin Skywalker that had a restriction on it of cannot be paired with Darth Vader. Because if you like things happen, he flipped him, he turns into Vader. And that it wasn't a common thing, but it was a thing they finally had to introduce, because it wasn't just that they were unique, but it was, no, this would, again, it's character progression.
Right.
Do you think they would do something like that? Maybe I don't know how they would, but again, it's in current environment. Guessing we wouldn't see Jenny, but if the whole card pool is,
yeah, I guess it'll kind of come down to how they decide to explicitly address the fact that the old card pool exists. If if it is explicitly stated that development is done with the idea that you will only play with Chapter 2 cards, you can play with Chapter 1, mechanically compatible, you do Yubei, but it's meant to be played as Chapter 2, then that's one thing. But if it's not explicitly stated that they are kind of putting a barrier between the two chapters, then they might do something like that.
Yeah. Oh, here I also see in chat. Yeah, Duggernaut said the back of Izzy should say it's illegal to play with both Izzy and Jenny. So that's like I'm wondering if it becomes a deck building thing or team construction, but that would be new. But again, it's a new chapter.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a thing they can introduce.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll be interested to see if they use a specific story beat to bring Jenny back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If they bring her back at a later, future proof that? I don't know. yeah, guess we'll have to see.
Cool. So I think that's about all that informationally got announced. So I mean, we've talked about it, but what do you guys think? My first question is like, what do you think about chapter 1 versus chapter 2 and cross contaminating the two card pools? Where are you at on the jump? I know we have a lot more information yet to get before we have to actually make that decision, but where are you sitting now?
I've actually shifted when it was first announced. I thought like I'm such a completionist and there's so many chapter 1 cards I haven't even played with yet that I'm just always going to do legacy, like that's going to be my default. But I've actually shifted lately. I think I might actually kind of keep them separate just for the sake of my sanity, and also I think it'll be kind of fun to experience a core set experience again and be like, I'm just going to build with these limited options and see what I can do.
Yeah. And it certainly does allow you to set that rope down, doesn't it? You can just like lay your burden down and not have to worry about it. I was actually thinking about for some kind of content, like uh figuring out a list of investigators that I had never actually played through a campaign, because it's
Mm.
I know for sure it's less than 10, but I think it's at least half a dozen. And it might be interesting to actually sit down and focus on some of those ones I've never bothered to pick up. But it weighs on you, doesn't it?
Yeah, even in terms of physical space, like my current card box actually with Drowned City is pretty much full. Like,
I had to shift mine
so
recently.
it's come at a perfect time where like, well, I could just like have a whole new box for chapter 2 just to be like, I'm playing chapter 2, let me get out my chapter 2 box.
It's a
For sure.
very
Like,
clean
I'm not
shift.
saying I will never mix them. I probably I will, but I think I'm going to be doing a lot more kind of separation of the than I anticipated.
How about you, Justin?
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I land on it too. Caveat to it is anytime with Iron Man, it's free for all. Like it's all
Oh yes,
on
for
the
sure.
table. Unless we very specifically would call it out, but I'm planning on, that is always out there. I'm excited for playing with them separately and then sometimes ping ponging to, the full version. But I think doing the limited for me, where I know I've talked about this, but I just have such a limited time with the game, kind of will give me a good clean start with it too. It was kind of like I'm viewing it kind of like when I fell off for a while early in the game's life and just couldn't get back to it. And then Sean, we just made the decision. We're like, I think it was Circle Undone when it came out. We're like, you know what? We're just starting here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was able to get caught up and keep pace from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually we got me back to the other stuff. Similar thing. I'm not necessarily behind, but this could just be a clean, hey, I'm going to play with this stuff. So I think it fits.
Sure. Makes sense.
What
I
about
am
you?
off in La La Land compared to you two. So definitely I'm really looking forward to having kind of a more concise card pool again, because that'll be interesting to explore. It will feel cool. I mean, I hope this is making a lot of presumptions, and Duke, please don't make me wrong here. Please don't make me wrong. But I do feel like after a game has existed for a while, and this happened with Lord of the Rings too, Ian, confirm or deny if I'm speaking out of turn here. But when the player card expands to the point where player decks can just become across the board more efficient at what they're doing and have more directed and specific options to take apart the problems that various campaigns might give you, the campaigns themselves, the meta shifts, and campaigns tend to get a bit harder. Like I think I would, maybe someone should do the math, but my gut tells me that the bad stuff modifiers have just slowly crept up on scenario reference cards, especially since we like moved from Edge of the Earth. I feel like I'm at a point now where if I'm not 3 up on every single test, I'm nervous. I'm really damn nervous. So it will be interesting to see if the idea, and again, this is presuming this is the way they go with it, if they are now developing with the idea that this is a new start, we're presuming that these are the only cards you own that the the campaigns and encounter cards will adjust as well, and maybe not have to account for the fact that, okay, well, blank exists and this is a hard counter for this encounter card I'd like to have, so now we need to add something else to it so that people don't just play the hard counter. Did that make sense?
It did. Yeah. I think having that reset and like being able to make sure that the scenarios are kind of don't have to account for the entire card pool in terms of difficulty.
Yeah. Well, so my thought is I'm pretty much whole hog on chapter 2 being its own thing. The caveat there being that Iron Man, anything goes. And there's probably gonna be some wild builds that come out of combining the two card pools, if I had to guess. And I've gone so far as to start to plan, and I have no idea how actually feasible this will be. But here is my plan. My chapter 1 cards will exist in the campaign box, and it will have an accompanying set of investigators to play in that campaign, one for each class. So if I ever want to pick chapter 1 up, I just grab the campaign. I've already made a bunch of decks that were tailor-made to go with this campaign. I'm hoping that the card pool is broad enough that I can do that without, like, it's going to stretch thin in some ways for sure, because there are a lot of staples that you'd like to put in every deck. But the idea there is that it just kind of exists in a way that I can pick it up and play it whenever I need to. But like, chapter 2 is the new active, alive part of the game.
So it's turning chapter 1 into like a kitchen table.
Yeah.
Play out of the box. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well,
I think I like, even keeping it separate, I think the things that will probably cross-contaminate them, I'm guessing, is probably investigators. Like, it's fun having investigator options. Like, it's playing chapter 1 investigators and chapter 2, and it probably won't break anything, and vice versa.
I think for the most part, I am pretty confident that there won't be too much that's game breaking. That's the thing, right? Too, we hear about all the stuff when the FAQs come out of, oh, well, this needed to be changed because it was leading to this infinite recursive loop of infinity, and it's like, okay, or maybe we just don't do that. Like, most people don't anyway. And I think that's where a lot of it's going to fall, is a lot of it'll just be fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's ever the thing for me, is like, I have no problem with people doing the weird degenerate infinite stuff, and it's an interesting, cool, thought experiment. However, it pains me to think that, cards need be balanced against uses that were never intended, and no one would have the guts to bring to a table to play with other humans, right? Well, ideally no one would. But yeah, anyway. It's gonna be interesting to see. The main thing that I'm really out on is what standalone pickup games are gonna look like.
Yeah.
Oh, because then you get into both which card pool are you using,
Are you
taboo or not.
Yeah. There's so many. Yeah.
It's
See, now I'm curious about a full card pool, non-taboo speed run mini community. See, like, okay, it's broken. How fast can you go?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do it, but have fun.
Surely someone will.
Even like deck building for cons now, it's like I have to build some chapter 1 decks and some chapter 2 decks and mixed decks, and yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of levers to pull now, and it's I don't know. I think at least for the stuff we're involved in, we maybe need to take a care to give guidelines so that people know what to do, and know what, kind of set the baseline for what the community is gonna, or at least what that event is gonna be playing at. But again, who knows? Maybe the balance will feel right in line with where the game's at now, and it won't feel weird at all to combine the two. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm probably going to even go as far as keeping chapter 2 in different sleeves than chapter 1, because the sleeves I have been using now for the last 10 years are getting harder and harder to find more copies of. So, and I think GameGenic is doing God's work in the accessory space. And I recently sleeved, Earthborn Rangers in their normal, their standard sleeves, and I love them. So yeah.
Cool.
Anyway,
Oh,
that's
I'm
where
gonna,
I'm
I
at.
think I'm gonna do the same, and then if I decide to have where I mix, I'll put it together. But I just bought, I think it was something like 10,000 Dragon Shield sleeves on a like bulk sale. Like
Oh,
I'm
nice.
ready.
Boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. But yeah. So, I don't necessarily think we want to run through all of the cards that were previewed, but do
Mhm.
you think maybe we each want to pick one out and talk about?
Yeah. Do that.
Do
Um,
that.
I'll go first. We'll go with
Mhm.
the one. Well, you know what? Not the one that was previewed on stream because people have seen that. Let's
Mhm.
go with Cloak of Resonance, which is a level 0 3-cost mystic asset. It has a willpower icon, item, clothing, and alchemy traits. Reaction: when horror is placed on Cloak of Resonance, exhaust it. Deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. And then it's got an excerpt of an alchemical formula as flavor text. It has null health, 3 sanity, and takes up the body slot. This is Agnes at home,
Yeah,
and
they
I am a
turned
fan.
Agnes into a cloak, so things got dark.
Yeah, no, so that's pretty cool. Mystics. Well, you're known to take horror in Arkham Horror, the card game in general, but Mystics tend to take horror, at least in Chapter 1. So we'll be interested to see if it happens in the same way going forward. But seems pretty solid.
Great.
Yeah.
Because Mystics, like even with the full card pool, don't have body slot options. This
True
is
story.
right out the gate, like a very solid body slot option for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm gonna
Ian.
go next so Ian doesn't accidentally take the one I want to take.
There you go. All right,
Okay.
Justin.
Or,
Because I'm taking a rogue card, Ian, just because it was so cool.
uh-huh.
I thought Olivier was an awesome ally.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's 4 cost, but you get +1 agility, and then free action during your turn. Exhaust him, move to a connecting location, 2 health, 1 sanity. That just seemed real fun.
Hey,
It's
Ian, remember when you had to
this
pay
was
a whole XP
this was
for
gonna
Cat
be my
Burglar?
card. I know. My first reaction, I was saying in places like, we actually get a good level ally. What we're like, it's been known a long time. Like the upgraded rogue allies are great. This is the level 0 ones, slim pickings as far as very useful ones.
Yeah.
Like amazing.
It's like you take the gambling money one unless you have a good reason to go elsewhere, right? What's his name?
Gregory Gry.
Gry. Yep.
Yep. Yep. I use Jesus, I'm blanking on the name. Ritter, the fixer.
Oh, sure. Lonnie's good.
Yeah, but this is an agility icon and move it, and yeah. And also on the cosplay note, I was encouraged to cosplay Bishop. I have long hair.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Definitely. Do it. All right, what one do you want to pick out, Ian?
Well, Olivier was mine, so let me click through.
Yeah.
You swiped me. What other one is good here? I don't want to pick another. I mean, I do want to spread the bit. Okay, let's do this one. Since Scott is not Hunter's the Survivor card. This is 2 cost assets, talent, limit 1 per investigator, uses 3 supplies. If there are no supplies on Hunter's Instinct, discard it. Reaction: after you engage an enemy, spend 1 supply and exhaust Hunter's Instinct. Add a level 0 event in your discard pile to your hand.
We love that.
Very nice.
Well,
Like this is there's a few like recursion survivor cards chapter, but usually you have to like spend an action, or this is just like
or some
letting you
XP.
do it passively. Yeah. Yep, exactly. So a lot of these cards chapter 2 so far, they're kind of not necessarily like upping the power level on the core set, although in some cases, but they're just kind of like making it more useful, I guess.
Yeah.
Giving us more utility based on lessons from the.
Yeah, I mean, it seems good. Like, I'll be interested to see if we get an upgraded version of this that lets you get a higher level of something. But I don't know, maybe that gets wacky. But as is, that's super solid, and it definitely affirms recursion as one of Survivor's, defining traits. So we do love to see that. All right, excellent. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Just so excited. I'm so glad that we're actually back now, and we actually just get to talk about the things that are happening instead of like our own backlog. It was torturous. I was dying inside the day that announcement dropped. I was absolutely dying inside because I'm like, oh my god, if this had been 1 week later, we could hop on stream and talk about it like fresh off the presses. But we got to sit on it for a week, but I don't know. We got through it. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. And so, now we're ready to roll.
On that count. If you haven't already, go check out the last stream that we did. I mean, it's probably in a couple pieces. Twitch was acting up for us, but we will be getting the audio of our return stream up on the podcast RSS in a more clean and digestible way, where we just talk about how the break went, what's going on, and what the future looks like in a little bit more detail. So pay attention for that. In the meantime, I'll just throw it out there that my next project is to be digging into dissonant voices for the Drowned City. And I'm very excited to get back to that. I just completed my 3rd time through the campaign, so now I feel like I'm only spoiling corners of it for myself instead of the whole thing, because that's always the weird thing about dissonant voices is you learn everything. When you read those campaign guides cover to cover, you learn everything. So I'll be working on that for the next little while. I might be a little bit quieter on the content front while I'm getting that done, because I just want to lock in and get that out there for patrons to access. I'm happy to hop on for anything else any of the other guys do. But more to come on that. We will definitely announce it on whatever our next content that follows it is. In addition, we are going to be setting up a channel in our Discord where we specifically have announcements. I know the Discord kind of belongs to the community in a lot of ways, but by God, I would like one place where all of our stuff is just in one little stream for anyone to peruse. So we're going to be doing that. So pay attention for Dissonant Voices coming out. Pay attention for the preview season. It's wild. I don't know. We didn't get an actual release date on the core set, did we? Just next year, nebulously?
Just spring, I believe.
Okay.
Yep.
So looking forward to that. So big thanks to all of our patrons. As always, you enable us to do what we do. Big thanks to Captain Atreides and Big Kahuna in particular, who subscribed to our Twitch through the entirety of our break, going on 26 months now. You're a real G, Chris.
Well done. Thank you.
And I think that's going to do it for us on this episode of Mythos Busters. We will see you guys next time. I was going to wave and then kiss, and I couldn't decide. Bye.